Hello friends, today we are going to be making these absolutely beautiful shower steamers in gorgeous chamomile essential oil. So let's go and we will make these beautiful today. Now today we are going to be making some beautiful German chamomile shower steamers. These ones are absolutely beautiful, but before we start we actually have to mix the chamomile into a carrier oil. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and when you see the essential oil you'll say, oh my goodness, look how gorgeous that is. Now to get the oil, this is the oil that I am using. This I've got from N Essentials. Now this tiny little 15 ml bottle is $38. So it's really, really expensive. So you wouldn't just go and pour this whole amount straight into that because you would need to charge $30 for a shower steamer the time you added so much of this in because it's so expensive. So obviously we're not going to do that. So we are going to mix it into a carrier oil, and then I'm going to show you how I just keep it in a container. And you can actually buy it like this as well, but I like to make my own. So anyway, like I said, without further ado, I'm going to show you how to do that bit first, and then we're going to get going with the shower steamer. So we've got our jug, and now what I want to do in here is, this is 95 grams. This is 95 grams. I have to think about it then. 95 grams of jojoba oil. So we're just going to add that in, and obviously I pre-measured it just for this. So what I'm usually working with is 95% of the product, and then I'm going to use 5% of the essential oil. Now you can also use 3% of the essential oil. If you buy it from many suppliers, they will use 3%. And if you're making your own, it means you need 97% of the carrier oil and 3% of essential. But we're going to use 5% today. Now, remember, in your recipe, it's not really going to be 5% of chamomile, because my recipe is going to be really big and we are not going to use all of this. We're going to save this for next time. But in here, can you see this gorgeous greeny kind of color? This is true beautiful chamomile extract. This is what it looks like. It's very, very beautiful, and it's very expensive because they need a lot of flowers, chamomile buds, to be able to squash it down to get this kind of oil. And if you buy it in like a litre, it's in the thousands of dollars. So very, very expensive. So you don't want to spill it. So in here we are going to pop it in here. We will make sure that in my little silicone spoon, we will get everything out of there. And then, you can probably see it trying to mix in. So we're just going to give it a bit of a mix to mix it in. Nothing too exciting. And it is a really strong smell, but it's a beautiful smell. So if you're making shower steamers and you don't want to put in the menthol crystals, you don't have to put in menthol crystals if you don't want to. You could just do it like this, and there's a lot of people that do it like this and don't add the crystals at all, because sometimes using too much of the crystals, what it actually does is it takes away the smell. So I've heard a lot of people say that. So but anyway, today we're going to do them without the menthol crystals. So now I do have my tiny little container. Now I actually got this container here from Craft 360 at the Australian Soaping and Candle Conference. They gave away a whole heap of bottles for free. That's why it's got this white label on it. So now I'm just going to use a tiny little baby funnel that I've got, because we don't want to lose any of this very expensive oil. And we're just going to pour it in here. And that way I can just use it as I need. So obviously I've got 100 mils in here. Now you don't have to use jojoba oil. You could use fractionated coconut as your carrier. You could use sweet almond oil, apricot kernel. I mean, there's so many different oils you could use. You could use whatever you want, but that's what we're going to use for this one here. And obviously I've put more than I needed in this container because now I've made it leak, and we definitely don't want to lose that. So I'm going to clean that up. But anyway, you get the gist, my friends. But, there was just a tiny bit left in there, which is fine. So anyway, we're going to put the lid on, and then we can use that. But I'm just going to set this aside for now, and we will wipe it and clean it all up, and then we're going to get ready with the rest of the recipe. Now let's start on the main recipe, everybody. So inside here I do have my bicarbonate soda. I've actually measured this up. So I have 1,500 grams, which is 1.5 kilos. So, and you want to always put it through a sifter. So let's just pop this through the sifter, and we're just going to sift it. There's no hurry, is there, my friends, for sure. And this will make a mess, so you'll have dust everywhere. So you will have to clean this up later. All right, so we'll put that down. We know that we have done that. Now, the next thing that we want to add in this is we want to add some cream of tartar. So in goes the cream of tartar. I've got 150 grams in here, which I've put in this container. Now, if you don't have cream of tartar, you can use kaolin clay. Some countries, actually, you can't get cream of tartar, but it's going to harden it. And if it's not hard, it's just going to be soft and not very good. So that's what we have done with that. Now, I'm also using some kaolin clay in here. So let's just pop the kaolin clay in. That's also a hardener. If you don't want to use this, you don't have to. And I always get asked by people, they say, well, this is a shower steamer. Why would you spend expensive clays and things like that? Well, I'm not selling my shower steamer for $4. I'm selling these for $8 for a really small one. And that's the thing. It just depends on where you want this. But in the market that I'm in, my products, I guess, are a little bit more luxury. And, you know, people that buy them, they want these expensive ingredients. So it goes back to your business and, you know, just what you actually want for your business and what you think is going to work with your clients. So that's just a little bit about that, my friends. Now we are going to put citric acid in, but that's not going to happen until we've done everything else and we've mixed it up. So now that we've done that, we can go and pop this on the KitchenAid. But what I usually do is make a little mount inside, and inside then I'm just going to pour the oils. So inside here it goes. This is the jojoba oil we did before, and it's not all of jojoba oil, but I've also in here got some, what have I got? Apricot kernel oil as well. So, you know, now I'm doing this recipe in grams. You can do this in cups or whatever you like if it's just for you at home. But if you're actually making this for customers, you do need to make this a recipe. So you create a formulation that works out to be 100%. So if you're on Patreon, I'll go over there and I'll put all the percentages. I'll give you the full recipe over there, PDF, and some instructions down the bottom, along with some links on where you can get things. So I will do that for everyone. Now, there is one more thing you can add. You can add a tiny bit of water to this. The water is going to help to harden it. Like everything, you really do want to use, you know, distilled water. Please don't go and use tap water, because tap water does have minerals and additives into it as well. And it's coming through copper pipes. So it's a little bit different. But that's what we're going to do for that. We are also going to be adding in this little darling, which this is a particular product. So this is polysorbate 80. And why we're adding this in, this is actually going to, you know, just help disperse the oils, make everything beautiful, and so on. So that's why I'm going to add this into my recipe as well, which is going to be just beautiful. So let's just pop it in. And I know it is the right amount in here as well. Basically, the polysorbate 80, I'm going to use 50% of, you know, so if I have 100 grams of oils in here, I'm going to use 50 grams of the polysorbate 80. That's just, you know, give you a bit of a quick idea on what you're going to use. But, you know, some people use less. You can use poly 20, but it's definitely not as good as poly 80. I definitely suggest you use polysorbate 80. Now, let's just pop it on the KitchenAid and get it going. So we're going to let this just mix a bit. This is on medium. I'm going to turn it down to low. And we just want it to slowly mix. Give this time, and then we're going to stir it a little bit more as well. And if you're not going to use essential oils and you want to use fragrances, you would have to re-look at this recipe. I don't suggest you use fragrances because there's really no benefit to a shower steamer, although they do smell really lovely. So if that's all you want, that's more than fine as well. But like I said, we're going to just let this do its bit. We're going to add a tiny bit of water in this one as well, and then that is our recipe, except for the citric acid at the end. While this is going, I thought I would just tell you, I also added in witch hazel, which I forgot to tell you, but I did add that in. We've added our water in, and now I'm just going to add the citric acid. I'm going to add 500 grams to this recipe of citric acid. So it's generally 1/3 of the bicarb is what I use. Now, a lot of people will use 50%, but I don't think it really needs that. It's not going into a bath bomb that needs to fizz or anything like that. And also, using less of this really helps because it will slow everything down. Now, another thing you can add in if you want to, you can also add in some starch. A lot of people add different starches in this as well, because once again, that sort of stops it going too fast. But, you know, it just depends on how you want the recipe. But we want this to be as higher quality as we can get. So let's get making. So I have my bowl here, and this is also what I do is I get everything. I'm going to mix it to double check on it, my friends. So let's just take it off the KitchenAid. And look, you can do this by hand, but seriously, putting it on something like a KitchenAid or a stand blend mixer is going to help you so much. All right, so let's pop it in here, and then we will mix it. Oh my goodness, it's so heavy. You know, several kilos. So inside here, we are going to mix it. Now, I know this probably looks like dry sand, but can I show you? You can see it holds up. We know that's going to be perfect. Now, if you want to add a color into this, you can. Sometimes I do add a mica just so that I can define what color, but you can see this is a yellowy color already. Now, the reason is because we've got jojoba oil in this, and we also have the German chamomile in this, which is going to change this color. So anyway, it's ready. It's looking beautiful. I love it. Now let's just get everything else and organized, and let's make it. So now I'm going to start making it. I'm going to use the hand press, but you do not need to. You could do this by hand, really easy. So I'm going to use these molds. These ones here are from Lee Molds. I'll put the links below as well. And it's honestly so simple. So we've got the smaller bit at the bottom. We're just going to sit it on the top, and then we're going to fill it in here. Now, when I fill mine, I literally, you know, weigh every single one. So I'm going to go and put this mixture here onto my scale, which is to the opposite side. And each time we take something out, we'll know what it's going to be, because I need this to be 45 grams or more. So let's put it on there, tear it out. And that means that every single time I take 45 grams out, I know that's right. All right, so this is 46 in total. And you know, that is perfect. And then I'm just going to pop the lid on, and let's just go and push it down. And I will show you how beautiful this is going to look. So doesn't it look cute? And you can see it's come out perfect. Pop them on the tray, and we're going to keep going. And we'll just tear out the scale each time. Like I said, we want these to be the right amount, which that is. And if you're trying to get 45 grams, always add 1 or 2, just to make sure. And behind me on the opposite side, I have the tray, but I might just move it. All right, so we're going to move it. Now, we'll just take this out. Now, one thing that I do need to say is if you take too long making these, they will dry out. So it is important that you try and be a little bit fast when you're doing this. And usually I would whip through this fast, but of course when I'm talking, doing a video, that's a bit more tricky, isn't it? And if you're like me and you already have pre-made boxes, you know, don't try and think, oh, well, I'll just be generous and give extra, because then they won't fit in the box. And I've had that happen to me before. And then I've thought, oh, gee, I'm too kind, you know, trying to do the right thing, but, you know, it doesn't always work. All right, we'll do this one, and then I'm going to bring you back when I've done them all, and I will tell you how much we're going to get out of this mixture. These are finished, my darlings. So don't they look so nice? We're going to leave these here for the night. We'll come back tomorrow, we'll wrap them all up, and we will box them in their box. Now, one thing that I did need to definitely tell everybody, a huge part of making these successful is having a beautiful blue day outside. By that I mean a gorgeous blue sky and no rain. Any rain or thunder will actually make these not work very well, and every single area environment can definitely play havoc with shower steamers or bath bombs. They're very similar in their ingredients mix. Anyway, I'll bring you back when we're going to box them all up. Hello everybody, it is the next day. It is in the morning, it's about 7:30 a.m. and here are my beautiful new boxes for these gorgeous chamomile shower steamers. So all I'm going to do is, you know, just fold up the box just as so. And yeah, we're just going to pop them in. So I've already sealed them with my sealing machine, and generally with my mix, I will be able to seal these, you know, within probably 10 hours of doing it. But usually I say leave it 24 hours. If your mixture starts to bubble and get larger, it means it's activating. It means it has too much water in it, and that sometimes can happen. So that's why you only put a very small amount of water. A long time ago, I actually never used to put any water at all, but water does give it a little bit of a hardening. So that's always a positive that you can actually do to them. Now, one thing that I will tell you, when I first started making these, I did not have professional boxes at all. But honestly, I just noticed that, you know, if you want a product to sell, you just need a box. And I know it's really hard because, you know, it's a lot of money. It really does. And I know some people get them made in 10,000 boxes, 20,000 boxes, 100,000 or more. Honestly, I'm not at that level. I don't get mine done in that. Generally, I will get 1,000 boxes made at a time. I think when I got these, I ended up getting a really good deal because I got sort of 3,500 boxes at one time. And I think I ended up getting, no, maybe it was more. I think I got 1,000 boxes of each design, and there's 6 designs in total. But I'm actually going to be getting another box made, and I'm going to have a box where 6 of these will sit together. They'll sit sort of flat across, and then that's like a bit of a gift box because they always sell super well in my with my wholesalers. But anyway, that's just a little bit about that. So what I usually do is make them all like this, and then I pop them in, super easy. And this is what I was saying about making sure you're weighing it. If you have a box like this, there is no good if I try and do 100 grams and it doesn't fit. Now, can you see how this one I made too big and I really have to force it in? I mean, it's fine, I can fit it in. That person's getting a much bigger steamer than someone else, but that's okay. It's just a little bit bigger. But anyway, that's how they look. Now, one thing I will tell you is be careful when you're making them. Like, I thought the white looked really nice, but you can see it's very, very light. But luckily for me, I did put all of the ingredients list and everything I needed properly on the back. So that's super important to do, my friends. And then literally all we're going to do is seal them up. And once I've finished doing all of this, then I will count them, put them on my site, and so on. But I know this mix has made 50. I've already counted that, just so that I could tell all of you. Now, I did end up going back into my oils with my recipe, and I ended up adding 5% of chamomile essential oils. I ended up adding that with the oil. So, but remember, that's not 5% in this recipe, because I'm only using, you know, I guess equivalent to 1 tablespoon of the oil that went into this huge recipe. So with chamomile, it's one of those things that it's really expensive, so you do need to limit it. A lot of people do not sell their shower stems or bath bombs or anything with just chamomile because it's so expensive. You know, if you buy a larger bottle, it can be over $1,000. So, and you know, customers don't understand that. They got no idea what it actually cost. They just buy something because they love it. So, you know, all those things are important to think about. And, you know, if you can't afford boxes, we'll just make a really lovely sticker. If you use something like printable vinyl, that will up your game a bit. So when I see labels and they're done in paper, which I did them in paper to start with too, there's nothing wrong with that. But it just doesn't have that luxurious end. So if you're looking for a luxurious feel, you need a box, or use printable vinyl. That will really kind of help your game a little bit. And I hope doing this is going to help. And also, I am actually going to put the full recipe over on my Patreon. You can actually buy recipes from my Patreon now as well. So you don't need to join if you don't want to. You can just go and get whatever recipe you want. But of course, if you join, even at the $7.50 level, you'll actually be able to see the recipes each week that I put in there. And so on. And of course, the higher the tier, the more things that they get within, you know, that as well. You can also buy, I do have a book over there, and the book has several recipes and worksheets and things like that in it. I've sold quite a few of those books. So yeah, so anyway, it's really good because, you know, it's just digital and you can print it all out. They're all PDFs to help you. So now with this one here, I'm going to do a really big recipe with this. So you will get this recipe we've talked about. I'll also give you a recipe with the menthol crystals in it. So we'll break that down. I'll give you information about alternatives, where you can actually get the essential oils from. There's plenty of places around. But if you're in Australia, look, I definitely suggest look at New Directions or An Essentials. They are the main ones that I use. Of course, all of the other ones like Heirloom, Aussie Soap, Aussie Candles, a lot of them have all of essential oils. So you can look at lots of those kind of ones as well. And I do know there's lots of other companies coming up that may be using them. I mean, keep your eye out for Craft 360. You never know what they'll bring in. That maybe they will, maybe they won't. That's a new company that I've been using, and a really, really great company. If you want products for soap or candle making, Craft 360, you can't go past them. They're the cheapest I have found, and they're in Eltham in Victoria. So just check those ones out. But anyway, like I said, we've done all this, haven't we? We're going to box them all up, put them on the site, and then we are done, my lovelies. So thank you for watching today, and you guys are going to see me on my next gorgeous video. Bye.